Let's start off with the trade war, seeing as that was, I would say, the biggest thing that happened this week, Claire, don't you think?
Definitely. We had a plethora of coverage on it. You can read all the wonderful articles about wine and what the relationship of BC wine to Alberta is on the website. But basically, yes, Premier Rachel Notley called for a boycott on importing BC wines and also asked that Albertans kind of take it upon themselves to stop drinking BC wine. So what we know is that there are some stockpiled in a warehouse, but within 30 to 35 days, we will run out of BC wines in the province.
Right. And to be clear here, I mean, she's not just calling for consumers to boycott. She's the...
AGLT has stopped
importing
Yeah, the
wine,
Alberta government has, which brings in your booze, is stopping you from getting that particular booze for political reasons.
Yes.
Unless you drive to BC and sneak wine across the border.
Yeah, they're not yet searching your luggage.
Oh, the thing is, though, she's kind of like hinting or suggesting they may start, cracking down on people who bring trucks across the border with full of wine. The black market in BC wine.
When I lived in northern Newfoundland, they would do that in southern Labrador, right next to Quebec. They'd actually set up roadblocks on the long weekends, and the RCMP would search vehicles for cheaper Quebec beer going back into southern Labrador. Ridiculous.
I want to point out that what's interesting, though, is that there is still the direct-to-door option to buy BC wines in Alberta.
Of course. So now this was all in response to last week's, I guess, announcement or decision or,
Press
idea
release.
or whatever you want to call it.
Threat, basically. But
by
BC
BC Premier John Horgan that... Now, Graham, talk us through what happened.
Yeah, so he's saying that they're worried about, the effects of a catastrophic spill of bitumen.
Diluted bitumen in particular.
Yeah, into a water, like the coast, whatever. So they're saying they're looking at doing more investigations into that and maybe limiting the amount of diluted bitumen Alberta can ship through pipelines to the west coast.
Which is actually,
this is actually
rejoices
a way
in the name Dilbit. I love it.
This is actually a way of Horgan once again trying to use a tool to delay or stop the expansion of the Kinder Morgan pipeline. Of course, he's been saying for some time he'll use every tool in the box to stop that pipeline, and this is seen as another, like a monkey wrench he's trying to basically kneecap Alberta with. So Alberta immediately got upset and said, you can't do this because only the federal government can regulate what goes through pipelines, not the provincial government. And then you've got Notley saying this is not a fight between Alberta and BC, it's really BC against the rest of the country, and she wants Trudeau to get involved and really put the screws or a monkey wrench to BC. Now, in a sense, the Premier is escalating this deliberately to get the attention of the federal government, to get them involved, to force Horgan to back down. The thing is, Horgan hasn't actually done anything. He hasn't passed any laws.
No,
he's just talking about it.
He put out a press release saying this is what we're thinking we're going to do.
Right. So it's, we can't go to court and fight, and there's nothing they've actually done, except this is a signal to investors, a signal to Kinder Morgan, don't go ahead with this pipeline. We may find a way of stopping you. So this is a major problem politically, economically for the Alberta government.
And of course, the problem for Mr. Horgan is that he has a government that's balanced on the head of a pin, and he relies on the support of the Green Party MLAs.
Three of them. That's it. Balance of power.
And that's the balance of power in BC. So if Horgan does something that convinces the Greens to, I don't know what. I mean, the Greens wouldn't obviously vote for the Liberals, who are the Conservatives in BC, just to keep us all straight. But if the Greens go off in a huff and leave his government high and dry, then the Liberals take over, which, if you think about it, would be really stupid on the part of the Greens, because the Liberals have been much more welcoming, although not wholly welcoming, of the pipeline. So why? I mean, they would be cutting off their noses to spite their faces, but nonetheless, Horgan is in a position where he needs to at least posture that he's doing everything he can to fight this pipeline.
Not kept saying in a news conference to cut off his face to spite his nose. He did it twice. So yes, I mean what I'm saying. Okay, fine.
When this was announced...
Sorry, just going back to Horgan, the thing about the Greens, and you're right, the Greens are the tail wagging the dog. So what Horgan's done, he approved the Site C the big project to build this big hydroelectric project. The Greens don't want that. He did it. He went to Asia to try and sell more liquefied natural gas to China. The Greens didn't like that. So he has to prove, that he's actually an environmentalist, and the best thing to do is try and stop the Kinder Morgan pipeline, which actually costs him nothing.